The former Marine who put a homeless man in a deadly chokehold on the subway nearly 2 weeks ago is set to surrender.
And Daniel Penny has agreed to turn himself into police in just a few hours. The district attorney is charging him with second-degree manslaughter in the controversial case surrounding Jordan Neely's death.
That's right. So Pix Element's Anthony Lorenzo live for us in Chinatown with more on the decision to file charges and what we expect to see today. Anthony.
Dan and Hazel, good morning. Protesters had planned on camping outside the district attorney's office last night. However, that protest turned into a rally when they found out yesterday evening that Daniel Penny would ultimately be charged today. We expect to see him showing up right here at the 5th Precinct in a matter of about 2 hours from now to surrender on charges of second-degree manslaughter. Following nearly 2 weeks of protests and calls for an arrest in the controversial case, one is ultimately expected today. 24-year-old Daniel Penny has agreed to turn himself in after putting a fellow subway rider in a chokehold that the medical examiner ruled a homicide. Neely, who was homeless and suffering from mental illness, was allegedly agitating fellow riders on May 1st. That's when Penny took him to the floor for as long as 15 minutes. 30-year-old's death was caught on camera, raising an uproar from the mayor to some police and community activists. Though one criminal defense attorney thinks the DA was forced to cave to political pressure.
This is a political hot potato. There are people on both sides of this that are upset about what's going on here, and the obvious solution here was to present it to a grand jury, present all of it, every witness, every possible charge, including justification, invite Mr. Penny to testify. And instead, they've just charged him, which, at this point, Alvin Bragg owns this.
Well, the suspect's lawyers told us in a statement, quote, when Mr. Penny, a decorated Marine veteran, stepped in to protect himself and fellow New Yorkers, his well-being was not assured. He risked his own life and safety for the good of his fellow passengers. The unfortunate result was the unintended and unforeseen death of Mr. Neely. We're confident once the facts are out, Mr. Penny will be fully absolved of any wrongdoing. Mayor Adams praised the DA for his investigation and called for justice to move forward in any form. We expect to hear directly from the Neely family in response to the arrest later on this morning. An arraignment is scheduled for later today. Live in Chinatown, I'm Anthony DiLorenzo, Pix 11 News.
Anthony, thank you. And stay with us throughout the morning, everybody. Anthony's going to pay close attention to that story for when the suspect turns himself in. Plus, we'll be speaking with Reverend Al Sharpton about the case and the manslaughter charges that are set to be handed down. That interview with Reverend Sharpton is at 7:15 this morning.